Blood trickled from the rawhide ties around her wrists, staining the dusty Montana soil under the old cottonwood tree. Jack Harlan had witnessed his share of brutality in his 42 years, from the chaos of the Civil War to brutal range wars and dusty bar fights, but nothing hit him like the sight of this Blackfoot woman, battered and abandoned to die by the swift-running Bitterroot River. Her breaths came in ragged whispers, her raven hair fanned out over sun-kissed shoulders, and even in her battered state, she radiated the untamed spirit of a wild stallion, fierce, unyielding, and captivating. The wise move would be to mount up and ride off. Meddling in tribal affairs could spark a blood feud in these untamed territories. But as he crouched beside her, pressing fingers to her pulse at her graceful neck, Jack knew he was about to shatter every unwritten law of the Montana frontier. Because sometimes a man's got to weigh what's lawful against what's just. What would you do if rescuing a stranger meant gambling your whole life? Stick around, because this tale's about to unfold with twists that'll keep you hooked. It was October 1882, and the Lazy H Ranch sprawled 40 miles from Missoula, where the vast plains met the jagged Rockies, making a man feel both liberated and insignificant under that endless blue dome. Jack had sought this solitude after laying his wife Emily and their young son to rest 4 years back, claimed by a typhoid outbreak that ravaged the valley like a prairie fire. Out here, the only company was the whisper of wind through sagebrush and the distant bellows of his 300 cattle. It let him fool himself that the emptiness in his gut was just the thin mountain air, not the void where his family once lived. He was mending a broken fence along the riverbank when he spotted her vivid contrast against the ochre earth that screamed trouble. His mare, Storm, pawed nervously, sensing the unease. Jack slid his Henry rifle from its saddle scabbard and crept forward on foot. She was slumped under the ancient cottonwood, wrists lashed with leather, her deerskin dress ripped and crusted with blood. Blackfoot, he figured from the intricate quillwork and bone pendants glinting in the late afternoon sun. She'd been lashed hard with a whip, welts crisscrossing her back and arms like angry scars. But it was her face that froze him solid, even marred by pain. She was stunning, with sharp features, plump lips cracked from dehydration, and skin like burnished oak. She looked no older than 24. Jack had picked up scraps of Blackfoot during his scouting days with the Army. He caught the faint scent of sweetgrass in her hair, used in their sacred rituals. This wasn't random cruelty. This was ritual punishment. His mind raced through the risks Blackfoot raids still terrorized settlers post the Nez Perce War, and the cavalry was ruthless after Custer's defeat. Getting mixed up could doom them both. Yet, as he watched her fight for every breath, Emily's words echoed in his head. A man's worth ain't in what he shows the world. Jack, it's in what he does when nobody's looking. Damn it all, he grumbled, slinging the rifle back. He sliced the bonds with his Bowie knife, mindful of her torn flesh. Lifting her, he was struck by how feather-light she felt, how she molded against him like she belonged. Her eyes flickered open deep hazel, blazing with defiance even in weakness, and something primal stirred in him. The trek back to the ranch was agony of another sort. She drifted in and out, her form pressed close against his chest and legs with every jolt of Storm's gait. Her scent sweetgrass, hide, and pure womanhood filled his senses. It had been 4 years since he'd held anyone, and his body betrayed him with unwanted urges, shame burning hot as he focused on saving her life. His cabin was sturdy but sparse. 2 rooms, a fieldstone hearth, walls stacked with Emily's old novels she'd hauled from back east. He placed the Blackfoot woman on his bed, boiled water, and fetched linens for her wounds. As he sponged the blood from her back, he fought to ignore the elegant arch of her spine, the rhythmic rise of her ribs under silken skin. Suddenly, she bolted awake, rolling away with a blade materializing in her grip like magic, shattering his focus. Back off. Her English was clipped but fluent. Jack raised his hands, rag dripping. Whoa there, easy. I ain't here to harm you. You're a white devil, you think you can claim whatever you touch. Her hazel eyes burned with fury and agony. I think you were dying by that river, and now you're not. We can sort the rest later. She eyed him, knife unwavering despite her frailty. Whatever she saw softened her just enough to lower it. Why? 'Cause leaving you would have made me less of a man. They locked gazes in the flickering lantern light. Her beauty hit harder up closed angular cheeks, inviting mouth, eyes holding ancient mysteries. Her dress had slipped, bearing the curve of her breast, and Jack averted his eyes. I'm Lita, she said at last. Eternal bloom. But they stripped me of its shade. I shamed it. What's the offense, Lita? Must be grave for that beating. Her laugh cut bitterly. I defied the arranged marriage. He has 3 wives already. Beats him senseless. I said no. She met his stare boldly. Among my kin, that's treason. Something twisted in Jack's chest rage at her abusers. Kinship with her rebellion. In my home, a woman's no is law. Call yourself what fits. Mara, she decided, from a mission school, means bitter but strong. Mara, it is. He nodded to the water. Let me tend those wounds. They'll infect otherwise. This time she allowed it. His rough hands were tender, tracing cloth over cuts, ignoring her shivers along her collarbone, her soft inhale at tender spots. You've patched folks before, she noted. War teaches ugly lessons not all about killing. As he worked, she scanned his rugged face. Blue eyes etched with lines, salt and pepper hair, assured movements. This wasn't the savage rancher she'd feared. There was compassion, mirroring her own scars. You had a woman, Mara observed, spotting feminine traces lace curtains, a vase of dried flowers. Where? Buried out back with our boy. Typhoid for years gone. His voice cracked. I'm sorry. She heard his sorrow, saw it in his slumped frame. That's why you're alone. Seemed safer. Can't lose what you don't have. Mara touched his cheek impulsively. The contact jolted them, but neither recoiled. Sometimes, the walls we build trap us worse. In the weeks ahead, Mara revealed depths beyond her looks. She tamed horses like extensions of herself, knew healing herbs from poisons, and tracked elk over barren trails Jack deemed empty. Her pride was ironclad. Once mobile, she demanded chores fixing harnesses with exquisite quill patterns, milling flour, nurturing his neglected garden with skill that shamed his. You owe me nothing, he said one dawn, watching her weave art into leather. I owe myself, she shot back. No man's charity for me again. But it was the quiet instance that unraveled him. Her humming Blackfoot tunes that tugged his heart, her silhouette at dusk with wind hugging her dress to her hips and thighs, her fluid grace in braiding her ebony locks. For weeks on, she caught him gazing as she pinned wash on the line. Their eyes met, sparking unspoken heat, the desire they denied. That night, she cooked venison stew with foraged spices. They ate quietly till she asked, Tell me about her, your Emily. Why? She lingers herein how you stack plates, fold linens. Emily was pure light, saw good and all. He smiled faintly. She'd have admired you. Said strength and gentleness ain't foes, just kin. Mara eyed him over a mug. Do you see gentleness in me? The air thickened like smoke. Jack met her gaze. I see a survivor who heals instead of hates, despite every right to. Mara stood by the fire, her outline gilded. She unpinned her hair. It cascaded like midnight silk. In my people, a woman's hair is sacred only her mate sees it loose. She turned, hazel eyes locking his. But I'm cast out now. You've shown me true honor. Tension crackled. Jack rose, every fiber attuned to her warmth, the fire's glow on her neck. Mara, he rasped. She closed the gap, her scent enveloping him. Do you want me gone, Jack Harlan? Hell no, but I won't exploit. She hushed him with a finger on his lips. What if I'm the one claiming? Her kiss started gently, probing, but ignited when he groaned and drew her in. They consumed each other, starved souls after isolation. His hands knotted in her hair, hers roamed his broad back. Pressed tight, her curves ignited him. Mara, he breathed against her skin. Sure. Instead of words, she unbuttoned his shirt, lips trailing his pounding heart. Jack's restraint shattered. He carried her to bed, laying her reverently. In the glow, she was radiant, eyes full of desire. Their union was tender yet fierce, years of solitude dissolving in shared passion. Mara gave and took, teaching him desire's holiness. After entwined in sheets, Jack whispered, "Never thought I'd feel alive again." Mara gazed up. "Me neither. But risks like this theory worth it." A month of joy was shattered by the thunder of bareback riders nearing. Mara tensed first, mid-fence repair. "Blackfoot," she stated, joy fading. Jack counted 6 warriors cresting the ridge, adorned in war paint and eagle feathers, armed with bows and a few Winchesters. Leading was an elder with a commanding presence and veiled sorrow. "My uncle Coda," Mara murmured, "our clan's battle chief." They halted at the boundaria gesture of restraint or threat. Coda advanced alone, face etched like weathered granite. "I seek the one once called Lita." "I'm here, uncle." Mara stepped up, reclaiming her Blackfoot poise, but stayed by Jacka, clear alliance, Coda noted. "You betray us, girl, and yourself." Coda's tone dripped regret more than wrath. "This outsider's poisoned you, erased your roots." "He's shown me choice," Mara countered. "For once, I'm free." "Free," Coda barked. "You've swapped blood, spirit, skin for what? A pale man's bed? His kind slaughtered your mother in the Marias massacre." The barb stung, but Mara stood firm. "Mother died for our right to paths of our own. I honor her by mine." Jack had held back, but now advanced respectfully. "Sir, your kin came to me near death. I offered shelter, care. Nothing more was demanded. Yet you bed her, twist her into something alien." "I love her," Jack declared, "and she chooses to stay." The word hung in the crisp air. Coda appraised them, this scarred rancher and his brother's defiant daughter. "Love? You whites know squat about it. Love's sacrifice for clan, duty to ancestors and unborn." He faced Mara. "Return, child. The elders relent if you forsake this folly, wed Ronan as decreed. He's vowed no beatings if you submit." Mara paled. "Ronan throttled his last wife, uncle. I'll know it. She was frail. You're tough, you'll endure." "Endurin' ain't livin'," Mara fired back. "I've tasted the difference." Coda's jaw set. "Then exile it is. You're dead to us." "If that's freedom's price," Mara said evenly, "so be it." Coda dismounted, drawing his knife not for attack, but right. He severed a strand of Mara's hair, letting it drift down. "My brother's child is gone. This shell means nothing." The act gutted Mara worse than lashes, but she held his gaze. Yet Coda added, tone shifting, "If this white proves worthy, if he values his love, perhaps this ghost finds a bridge between realms." "What proof?" Jack demanded. "Combat. Dawn tomorrow. You versus our mightiest. Win, we honor your bond and depart. Lose, she faces trial, you for aiding her. And if I refuse, we seize her now, and you perish." Jack glanced at Mara. Seeing her dread, she expected him to bail, prioritizing safety over their brief bond. But eyeing this vibrant woman who'd reignited his world, the decision crystallized. "Dawn," he affirmed. That night, Mara pleaded flight. "You don't get advance, is their killer. 8 scalps and duels. Then I'll be 9, Jack said, oiling his peacemaker. "This ain't funny." She gripped him. "I ain't worth your grave." He cradled her face. "That's dead wrong, darling. You're my all." Their lovemaking was frantic, tears mingling as she moved above him, as if etching memories eternal. They knew it could be farewell. Dawn broke chill and foggy, mist swirling off the bitterroot like specters. The Blackfoot ringed a clearing per custom. Vance loomed massive, scarred, wielding a spiked tomahawk, eyes void of pity. Terms, Coda boomed. Bare hands till yield or death. Weapons? Only a man's soul. Jack bare to the waist, his fair skin contrasting with Vance's copper. Older, slighter, but ranch toil kept him lean, eyes steady with a loser's calm. The clash was savage, explosive. Vance charged like a grizzly, tomahawk slicing air. Jack dodged by a hair, tumoring up with grit in teeth and fire in veins. They prowled. Vance sneered, Jack stoic. The next lunge, Jack seized Vance's arm, leveraging force to slam an elbow into the ribs, a crack echoing. But Vance pivoted, club grazing Jack's side, drawing blood. Mara's cry pierced the haze. Stay down, pale dog, Vance wheezed. Jack grinned bloody. Not my style. He surged knee to gut, fist to jaw, a barrage honed from army brawls. The tomahawk flew. It devolved to raw fisticuffs under Montana's vast sky. They battled till battered faces pulped, hands shredded, fatigue like lead. Youth fueled Vance, but Jack's scars from wars and loss gave edge. When Vance knelt, gasping, Jack loomed. Yield. Vance glanced at Coda, then Jack. I yield. 7 months later, Mara stood on the cabin porch, hand on her budding belly, watching Jack herd cattle through blooming meadows. The babe would arrive with fall, its kicks like eager whispers. She wore a gingham dress now, hair in a simple plait, but bone Blackfoot amulets adorned her arms. Between worlds, as Coda foretold, but she'd carved belonging there. Coda honored the pact. No raids came, though distant silhouettes on ridges hinted her people watched guarding, not forgetting. Storm trotted up. Jack dismounted fluidly at 43, looking renewed. Love, Mara mused, healed deep. How are my ladies? He embraced her, nuzzling her neck. Fine, she chuckled, melting into him. Though this one's feisty a scout like her pa, or fighter like her ma. In peaceful quiet, they watched sunset paint the Rockies amber and rose the hues of their first kiss. Regrets? Leaving your kin? Jack asked softly. Mara turned, cherishing his lined face. How could I? This is home. Far off, an eagle soared, it's called a benediction. Beyond lay Missoula's bustle and empty vows. Behind, their old ghosts. But here, under Montana's boundless heavens, Jack Harlan and the woman who chose Mara had it all. Each other, tomorrow's pledge, and liberty to forge their fate. What do you think about this story? Should Mara have returned to her tribe and honor tradition? Or was choosing love and freedom the right path? Share your stance in the comments below. I'd love to hear your views and spark some debate.